Hey YouTube, this is Mike, and I just wanted to share a short little snippet from this episode that I really enjoyed. However, if you want to listen to the full episode, either scroll down this post or head to mikejamesreid.com/podcast for the full episode. Thanks and enjoy.
But I feel like when we're looking to improve, sometimes we avoid something because we have a blind side. See, I don't have a problem giving stuff up. I give stuff up all the time.
When you say blind side, do you mean blind spot? Same thing?
Yeah, blind spot. Yeah, like there's a part, like here is my blind side. Like I can't, if someone's doing whatever they're doing, the back of my left shoulder, I suppose, I can't see that spot. And it's not like I'm actively turning around to look at it either. Do you know what I mean? So when I don't have a problem abstaining from anything. We've had a lot of discussions around that. I do it every year religiously for the last 17 years. I've been giving up stuff. What's really fascinating for me is how hard it's been for me to get back into exercise over the last 5 years. And it's not like I haven't tried. And this is the dichotomy, I think, for me, is that every time I try, I feel like a failure from starting to try. And then I feel continuous failure until I stop. And then I still feel shame and guilt and failure that pushes me to start again. And it's just this cycle. But that's me just deconstructing it right now. I don't think I've ever thought of it like that before.
Do you feel this area is one of your greatest dichotomies in your own life? Or do you feel there's another aspect of your life where do you experience personally the greatest dichotomy in your life?
Well, I think I'm very similar to you. I think in the sense that I want the good and I want the bad and I want the ugly and I want all that. I want the whole experience. And I have no middle, so balance is the hardest for me. That's why for me dichotomy is such a easy term to relate to, is because balance is extremely hard for me. I can either go all out left and give up everything with no problems at all, or I can go all out right and not have any sort of boundaries as to what I do. So for me, I experience dichotomy in every area of life, from my marriage to my business, sometimes friendship, sometimes stuff that I really love, like, podcasting. As much as I love interviewing and chatting with people, last year, my track record was rubbish.
So in 2016, I took a year off booze, and that was a really incredible experience. It much like you, I'm the same. It's either all on or all off, and that experience connected me to a greater sense of clarity, of purpose, of well-being, and I just felt healthy and vital and like all these amazing things. But psychologically, it was incredibly challenging at the same time. It was, I was in that year, I was single, and so, going out and socializing and meeting women and all these kind of different things without booze is actually tough. And I'm disappointed to say that that's the case, but it kind of is. It's the social lubricant that sort of, lubricates situations. And I know that you have a particular tradition of abstaining from different things. Can you just share a little bit about what that's about and why you started in the first place and why you've continued to keep it up since you started?
Yeah. So 17 years ago, well, actually, let's go way back. I want to say year 11, year 12, year 11, I want to say, I started smoking with my friends, and I hated it. I hated smoking, but I kept smoking, and I would smoke. So I started when I was 16, 17, and I smoked for 8 years. And every time, and it's really weird right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you would never think of me as a smoker, right? Like, and I would never think of myself as a smoker today, but I used to smoke, and there was a time and period in there where I used to smoke even a pack a day. I've never actually said this out loud, but however, I used to. And I used to be one of those smokers that hated the smell of smoke. I used to smoke, but I used to hate it. And if someone else smoked, if someone else smoked around me, I used to hate it. I could never sleep with someone else smoking, even in the vicinity.
Wow.
It would wake me up. But it was just this weird habit. And I was brought up Catholic. And, we're told in the Catholic faith that you're supposed to not eat meat, or at least abstain from eating meat on, the Ash Wednesday, which is the start of Lent, and Good Friday, which is when Jesus dies on the cross. And I never related to that. I kind of always ate meat and always did exactly what I was told not to do while I was growing up. However, when I was putting that into perspective and I was all by myself and I had to make the decision all on my own, I felt that was the perfect time for me to stop smoking. So I gave up smoking for the period of Lent, not for religious reasons, for me, really for me. I wasn't forced to do it, and it was really great because it was my choice. And that was the first time in 8 years that I didn't smoke for 45 days. And I didn't smoke for a few months after that. And then I would get into a social situation where, and at the time there was smoking in bars in Australia. So there was not so we'd go out, and I used to work in a bar. I was the bartender. So, you couldn't really run away from it. But it would take me, it took me like 3 or 4 months after Lent to sort of get back into smoking. So I did it the next year again, and I added alcohol on top of that. And to get back into it took 6 months the next year. And then the following year, I stopped smoking, I stopped drinking, and I stopped eating meat. And I just stopped smoking altogether and haven't smoked since. In fact, it's really disgusting right now for me to even think about it. And then I just kept adding. To that list. So every year, I give up everything that I gave up the previous year, and I add a new one. Except for last year, because I was traveling around the US, and Rochelle made this point that just blew my mind. She's like, on the second day, she said, so you giving up stuff, are you actually forfeiting your experience of what it's like to be in this country or be around here? Are you actually forfeiting the experience by abstaining from something that you don't necessarily need to abstain from? So, and I put that in context because when we got married 5 years ago on the 13th of February, it was the start of Lent. So on my wedding day, I did not drink. I did not eat meat. I did not have a slice of my cake. And it was frozen for me for after Lent so I could taste my wedding cake. So I was so religious about it and so strict and so the dichotomy, right? All the way left. I didn't even indulge on my wedding day, which everyone found weird. So I think having Rochelle around is either devil on the shoulder or helping me find some sort of balance.